Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And we got a good one today. We're going back to WalterFootball, baby. He's got a 3-rounder. We're going to take a look at the first round, kind of skim through day 2. And yeah, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. Love looking at other people's perspectives. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It is your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Before we get into this, I got a 7-rounder coming out next week. I'm going to start on that as soon as we find out the final draft order before the playoffs. And go ahead, check that out. I'm going to be releasing the Patreon the same day. It'll have my full big board, my full prospect rankings, rather than the top 10s you get on here. So, hey, if you want to invest in the channel, go ahead and do that when it comes out. And you'll get some other nifty little things along with that. Let's go ahead and get into this sucker. I imagine I was going to say I imagine the first 2 picks at least should be probably the same for the most part. But we never know WalterFootball. He's got interest in mock drafts. But he goes KT with the first pick to the Jags. Again, take the best player available. Don't know if this is an overreaction to the Georgia game, which it wasn't even a bad game for a Hutch, but I've been saying these guys are kind of a coin toss. They provide a little bit of different flavor in terms of what you're looking for a pass rusher. You're the Jags, just go ahead and take the best player available. And I've been saying Evan Neal, man, he's getting there, dude. I feel like he's like that cat from Home Improvement. Oh, hey there, Tim, but more like, oh, hey there, first overall pick. That was dumb. Let's keep going. Let's see who Detroit takes with their next pick. What the flip? All right, we're going Kenny Pickett with the next pick here. This one's very interesting. I don't think Detroit has to jump on quarterback immediately. You could ride it out with Goff another year. You could bring in competition, but I'm doing that maybe in the later rounds or through free agency. I'd rather maybe be looking at probably a better quarterback class next year, but again, you never know. But Kenny Pickett, man, he's the top quarterback of the board. If I'm picking a quarterback here, I might be going with one that I think has a bit more upside. In my evaluation of Pickett, I don't think he has the tangibles to be an elite pocket passer, an elite quarterback in the NFL. I think he could be a top 10 to top 12, but I don't think he is going to be like in that upper echelon of quarterbacks. But I very well could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong on that. So no brainer with this next pick. The Texans go Hutch since Detroit passed on the hometown boy. And yeah, I mean, you're the Texans. You're in the same boat. He talks about Davis Mills improving throughout the season, which I think he has. It warrants another look at him. Keep in mind, he's a 3rd-round pick, though. But he is a guy that also came into the league with very limited dropbacks there at Stanford. So it'll be interesting to see what year 2 looks like from Davis Mills. I'm not sold on Davis Mills. Again, 3rd-rounder, but he is a guy that has an NFL arm. We'll see if that opinion changes next season, but I'm on board with the Texans. Just bring in the best talent available, bring in talent to the squad that desperately needs it. All right, so number 4 is the Jets, right? This could be Evan Neal, Derek Stingley, or it could be George Karlaftis. Wow, edge rushers flying off the board now. Joe Douglas loves the trenches. This, if you're doing this from a prediction basis, I think it makes a ton of sense. I might go Evan Neal knowing the Giants pick behind me. But, I mean, you do you, baby boo. I'm still kind of in the Derek Stingley boat. I know a lot of people don't like Derek Stingley, but, I mean, it is what it is. You're free to have your own opinion. That's what we do in America. But let's just, I guess, go ahead and look at the next pick. They take Karlaftis. I imagine Evan Neal comes off the board with this next pick. Yes, he does. They list him here as a guard. I don't think you have to do that. We know where he's playing. He's playing probably that right tackle, which he played there in 2020. So wonderful pick, good pick by the Giants. I'm trying to think who's next up. I think the 6th pick belongs to the Panthers. We go quarterback. You go with one of the offensive linemen. I think those are the top 2 areas. They go Malik Willis. Hey, remember when I did my mock and I was like, yo, watch out. Greg Roman's coming to town. I got 8 up for that one. I was just connecting dots that probably just didn't need to be connected. But he isn't a guy that can start immediately. You have Sam Darnold for another year. Yeah, if y'all suck, then great. You're going to be picking top. You can bring in more talent. Maybe you get a good look at Willis during the end of the year, but he's a guy that has improved tremendously, needs to work on the decision-making. That's kind of the big area here in terms of, I think he can be an accurate passer. He has shown very good ball placement at times. I think a lot of that was improving his mechanics, his lower body mechanics, setting his feet and whatnot. So, yeah, we know the mobility is great. This is the Jets' next pick. They go Derek Stingley, so they just go defensively altogether. I like it. Add in a nice athletic corner with shutdown corner traits to the Jets would be great next to Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall? Breece Hall? Breece Hall. I think it's Breece Hall. No, it's Bryce Hall. I can't remember. This draft has me messed up now because we have Iowa State's Breece Hall. So it's probably Bryce Hall. But, man, I should know this. I loved him coming out of Virginia. All right, so this is the Giants' next pick. They're going with Jermaine Johnson. This is interesting. I don't think Jermaine goes top 10 as of right now, just because I don't think he has the traits of guys like Ojabo. You know, he's not, I don't think he's nearly as explosive, but he's built out, man. This guy's got a frame. He played a stand-up pass rushing role there at Florida State. I think he's going to light up the combine, but top 10 feels a bit rich. But hey, man, this edge class, we're going to be ranking guys all over the place. Jermaine Johnson's definitely a guy that could definitely sneak into that first round. This just feels a bit high. I'm saying this right now. There's a lot of more information we're going to have come this off-season draft process. Ahmad Gardner going to Washington. I get it. Get a shutdown corner. That would be really good next to who they got there? Will. Is it Will? No, it's... All I have is Jackson in my head. Why can't I think of his first name? He came from the Bengals. Oh my goodness. Washington football. Why? Oh, this really is grinding my gears. All right, show it to me so I can put my head through this monitor for not knowing. Oh, I should hit depth charts. Son of a gun. Okay, whatever. I'll find it anyway. What do you mean I can't sort by position? What the heck is this nonsense? Okay, we're going to depth chart. This is silly. I'm trying to think of it. Can I think of it right now? Something Jackson. Something Jackson. It's William Jackson. Okay. That's why I was blinking. Will. It's because we're close. I call him Will for short. So, I mean, it could work out that way. I think safety is the actual issue in that secondary. And keep in mind, they also got guys like Fuller, and they have St. Jude's, who they just drafted. It's really the safety position that's lacking. They don't have a guy that could really be a center fielder, or even a guy you could trust in cover 2. Or too high, I should say. So Kyle Hamilton might be a better pick here. They did just re-sign Charles Leno, so maybe you don't go tackle because Cosme looked pretty good. Maybe you go somewhere on the interior, but you probably save that for later rounds. Obviously, quarterback's still an option. Excuse me, but I'm not gonna fall Gardner, man. Cornerback depth's a real thing. At number 10, the Falcons go Sam Howell, get the quarterback of the future. I like Howell a lot. He might end up being my top passer. It's really close between Pickett and Willis for me. That's weird that our top 3 quarterbacks are the same. I say weird just because I'm used to something a little I'm used to Walter's drafts looking vastly different from what I have. But I don't think the Falcons, you have Matt Ryan for another year at least, just because you can't cut him cap-wise. Why not ride it out with him and just improve you could go pass rush, you could go wide receiver, you could go corner. I think those are some areas you would do, especially Kyle Hamilton's still on the board. That's kind of an attractive pick. as well. So I think there's just other areas they can go. You could even make a case for one of the tackles, Cross or Icky. Broncos go David Ojabo. Oh, and we went ahead and I scrolled too far. It is what it is. Let's talk about Ojabo first. I know they traded away Von Miller. They get Bradley Chubb healthy back next year. Malik Willis is a fine rotation piece. I think for a late rounder in Jonathan Cooper, he's really showed pretty well. I'm not saying he's like a starting caliber player, but like he's shown, Malik Willis can handle that role as well. I just think there's other pressing needs such as quarterback. I get it, it's a bit tough at this spot, but maybe you take you take Cross or Icky at this point. Sure up the right tackle position if you don't bring back Massey. Kyle Hamilton, I think if you're going best player on the board, Kyle Hamilton's there. Kareem Jackson is older. And Caden Stearns, a lot of people like Caden Stearns, but his best fit is slot or in the box. He's not going to stop me from drafting Kyle Hamilton. I'll just say that. Jordan Davis, though, this is such a Mike Zimmer pick. I get it that Michael Pierce hasn't really lived up to the contract that they gave him. A lot of that has to do with the opt-out and injuries, though. They do like those big guys that can penetrate. They like penetrators in the A and B gaps. So Jordan Davis kind of fits the mold, but it's just not a pick that's really going to change anything in Minnesota. Like, picks that would really help out are like in the secondary, corner, edge rush, quarterback. Those are the type of things you'd be looking for. You can make a case for a receiver. I know a lot of y'all really like the idea of getting a receiver there in Minnesota. It's just I don't think a lack of firepower is the problem there in Minnesota. I really think it's the defense. So let's keep it well, you could also make a case for Kirk Cousins being a bit of a problem offensively. At 13, Garrett Wilson going to the Cleveland Browns. It makes a ton of sense. I've talked about this a lot of times. You got Baker on his 5th year. Let's really give him no excuses. So not much to talk about here. Wilson is like my 1A, 1B in this receiving class because Jameson Williams kind of depends what you want. Both bring you a little bit different in terms of, Williams is just such a crazy good burner. Wilson's this more complete type of wide receiver. Eagles make out big. Kyle Hamilton going to the Eagles. This is a bit of a steal. Congrats. And the Saints, Jameson Williams. Everybody's mocking this. I think this has been the same thing for all these mock-the-mocks. It just makes too much sense. That's good, Red Bull. All right. Charles Cross going to the Falcons. Talk about getting a replacement for Orlando Brown. They do have Jawan James coming back because he's been hurt this year. They signed him. Obviously, you're very disappointed in what you got with Alejandro Villanueva, but Cross is high, but I don't know, man. I feel like if you're the Raven, first off, Icky I think is a way better scheme fit because Cross and Icky, those are two vastly different prospects when it comes to the offensive line. I think Icky's just a better scheme fit for the kind of this power run type of scheme that they run on the offensive line. And really, you're the Ravens. You go best player available. You had a lot of people hurt. I think they were the second most banged up team in the league with the Saints. I think Saints had the most starters or most different starters on the season. The Ravens were right behind them with that. But yeah, no, next year's going to be vastly different for the Ravens as long as they stay healthy. They are going to get a lot of people back. And then let's go ahead. Let's go to 17 through 32. I didn't look through this portion of his mocks, so this is going to be a bit more surprising. All right, man, let's go ahead and see this next pick. Steelers take Icky. Okay, I get it with Cross off the board. You still got Tyler Linderbaum, though. Even Kenyon Green. I think the Steelers are looking for this more athletic type of offensive lineman, and getting Icky. Icky's a good athlete for his size. I think he ends up moving to guard, though, if you're the Steelers and you're kind of looking for that. And I get that. Yeah, I get that you're probably you're probably looking to shore up the offensive line, especially like to help Najee Harris out. That poor guy was averaging under 4 yards a carry, I believe, if I'm not wrong. At least heading into this past weekend, he was. And that's just rough, man. It really, if you're looking for a good run game, it starts with the offensive line. The protection hasn't been great, hasn't been that good for Ben Roethlisberger, and now you might be going to another quarterback. Obviously, they don't believe Matt Corral is that option there. Quite frankly, I think much like the Saints, I think they bring in a veteran starter, whether it's a Jameis Winston. Maybe they trade for like guys like Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the Steelers are more so in that type of boat. Maybe they make a play for a Russ. So we'll see. We'll see. And then Damon Clark going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't have him as a first rounder. As a matter of fact, I got him as a early day 3 guy. Like, I like what he did this past season. He looks more athletic. He's a sure tackler. Like, he's going to be a good linebacker in the league. It's just there's not an upside in coverage. There's not an upside as a blitzer / edge rusher. Like, he doesn't bring a lot of pressure as much as some other linebackers do in this class to warrant him to be the first linebacker off the board. But what he does is he ensures that pass catchers don't rip off gains after the catch. That works in the NFL. That'll keep you in the NFL. Like, I think he'll be a solid linebacker. He just doesn't really fill out these other areas I'm looking for when it comes to our first-round linebacker. Then Drake Jackson going to the freaking Eagles. Interesting. He's kind of this wide 9 guy. They talk about he could fill out and play on the interior. They didn't use him like that in college. I don't know why you would use him like that in the NFL. He's explosive. He's got good movement skills, good length. He's a guy I'd rather work from 5 tech outward, not really move to the interior. I'm not really seeing that for him. So this pick's a bit interesting. And then 20, DeMarvin Leal going to the Chargers. This is kind of at least I would view it as a Jerry Tillery replacement. Like, I can see DeMarvin Leal being this gap penetrator that Staley would love in his defense. So, yeah, not bad. Good value. Good value. Oh, man, I saw a tweet today that was talking about most NFL scouts view DeMarvin Leal as a high bust potential, and it's like, oh, well, shoot. Okay. I mean, I don't think so. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Trent McDuffie going to the Eagles. It's a good scheme fit, coverage-wise. So they make out with Hamilton. Oh, solid. They grab Drake Jackson, which, I mean, it's an interesting fit. But Trent McDuffie's a really good fit for the coverage scheme that Gannon has there defensively. Getting some more, they're adding a variety of youth and a potential there in terms of they got guys like Zach McPherson, who they just drafted this past year. They traded for Tay Gowan, bringing in Trent McDuffie. You got a nice young quarterback room that you're hoping at least one of those guys perhaps emerges, with Trent McDuffie obviously being the guy you invested the most in. Tyler Linderbaum going to the Dolphins. I don't dispute it. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dolphins going offensive line, but he fits this exception in terms of I want to take one of these blue chip offensive line prospects. Kenyon Green's kind of, I'd really have to ponder on Kenyon Green, because I think he really is going to be good in the NFL. But I don't know if I don't think I'd consider him a blue chip guy like I would a Linderbaum, Neal, Icky, Cross. Those are the guys I'm blue chip. So, Dolphins make out good. That's solid. I love that. I'm a Dolphins fan. Fins up, baby. Eagles go Wan'Dale Robinson. This is interesting because Wan'Dale Robinson, he's going to be firmly a day 2 guy for me, just because he is a high-end gadget guy, just from his size. What's he going to eat? He's going to be a guy you can probably stick to the outside that can maybe work like how the Chicago Bears have worked with Darnell Mooney, and kind of working that aspect. But this is a guy you want to dump the ball off to as soon as possible and let him create. But he can create vertically as well. I just feel like you got guys like Chris Olave on the board. You got guys like Drake London, Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson. I just don't think Robinson's kind of in that tier with those guys. I'd rather take his value on day 2. I feel much better about him than guys last year that went on day 2, like Tutu Atwell and Amari Rodgers. I feel a lot better about Wan'Dale Robinson than I did those guys. And then Josh Jobe. This is a joke, man, at this point. Listen, Josh Jobe, I get it, man. Like, he's an Alabama corner. You know, this guy's a technician. The dude's far too handsy for my taste. This year was a big step down in terms of play compared to how he did last year. He came out supposed to be the starting corner. Now that Surtain's gone, he didn't look good. Like, it's not like he looked bad. It's just like, I'm taking this guy day 3, straight up. Like, there's so many better corners in this draft than Josh Jobe, who I don't know if he's a good enough athlete. Like Trayvon Diggs, that was kind of a dig at him, was, oh man, he's not like the best athlete. And he doesn't like, and Josh Jobe, I think, is a lesser athlete than Diggs. Josh Jobe does not have the ball skills. Diggs does. That's the thing. Diggs coming out, man, he was like kind of a ball hawk. He was constantly a guy looking to make a play on the ball. Jobe ain't that. He's a penalty machine. But, yeah, as y'all can tell, I don't love it. Perion Winfrey for the Bills. This is another one I don't like either. The Bills, what they need is, like, if I could get a meteor guy that can be an elite run stuffer while maybe with some pass rushing upside, I'm looking at Devontae Wyatt. I'm looking at Travis Jones. Even then, those are guys that I feel like are more early to mid second round. Perion Winfrey, I don't think like Oklahoma, they didn't really utilize him as a run defender because they questioned him as a run defender. They didn't want to keep him on the field because they were like, he's not really a plus guy for us in the run. What he does is he's disruptive. He's a nightmare in terms of being a pass rusher. He's so good. That's not what the Bills need. You got Ed Oliver for that. You know, they need to get meteor in the middle. So, yeah, I'm not in love with this pick either. And the love keeps dwindling for me. Nicholas Petit-Frere going to the Bengals. I mean, what you can say about this is, hey, he can play both sides, left and right. But the guy, he's far from a complete prospect. He doesn't really fit the blocking scheme there Zach Taylor has. He's a day 2 guy. I'd rather take a shot on these, like a Kenyon Green, a guy that could fill a plethora of roles, who is a great scheme fit. You could look at maybe guys that are a bit more projects, like Trevor Penn, like what's his first name? Bernhard Ryman. Whoever corrected me, thank you. Apparently it's Ryman. Almost said ramen, but I didn't. I'd rather take those guys because they have much better athletic upside for their size than Petit-Frere. Not to, like, I'm not knocking his upside. It's just not as good as those guys. I think he's going to be a solid player. And I think in the right scheme, dude, he's going to be extremely good. It's just not first round good for me. Trevor Penn going to the Cowboys. I kind of get this. You get a guy that can be that heir apparent to Tyron Smith. It makes sense. He's got big upside. I don't think he's going to be ready to start now. There's just a lot technique-wise with him. Like, he shows off quick feet, but, like, there's so many instances where, like, he's moving his feet, but, like, he's not really doing nothing. It's just kind of, like, in place, you know? Like, he's waiting to do something. He's just kind of there dancing. He's tap dancing. You know, so there are a few things, but don't get me wrong. This dude's a good prospect. It's just I don't think he's ready to start. We saw that from Spencer Brown. The guy was not ready to start day 1 or year 1. The Buccaneers, they go Travon Walker. I think this is a good pick. Dude's a great athlete for being 270. A guy that even kicked back into coverage. I'm kind of curious what his role is here, because you talk about Ndamukong Suh. But will he be able to hold up inside like that? Like around the 3-tech area? Like, I don't know. I'm not positive. I'm not sold. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pick. I mean, they will find a role for him. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I'm not in love with it, but I get the talent's immense. So you can't fault the talent. The talent's there. It's just, I'm curious about how he fits. But, I mean, that's the NFL nowadays. They don't find guys that necessarily fit their system all the time. They figure out how they can work these guys in their system. Like, they bend their system. They scheme. They just figure out how they can scheme these guys based on their strengths. Like Phil Snow from the Panthers, their DC, he's so great at building his defense around what his players' strengths are. It's a shame they don't have a good offense there. Good quarterback. Good offensive line. You get what I'm saying. Treylon Burks, though, going to the KC. Like, honestly, this is the one area, like, with the Chiefs, I'd rather go pass rusher. But I don't mind going with a much meatier receiver, like maybe a Drake London or a Treylon Burks. Like, Burks is actually, I think, an ideal fit. Size, speed, could create after the catch. He's kind of built to be a number 2 in this offense. I kind of like that. Detroit went quarterback. Now they go Chris Olave. They get a burner to match up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who do they draft? They went Kenny Pickett, right? Oh, that was wild. So they get Olave, who him and Amon-Ra, like, because both these guys can dip into the slot. I like that about them. Honestly, Amon-Ra St. Brown might be at his best in the slot. So, like, it's good. It's good. I kind of like it. Jalen Wademeyer going to the Tennessee tight ends. For me, it's kind of a joke. Wademeyer, listen, he's a good tight end. He's going to be a good tight end. He's a chain mover. He's got the ability to break off some yards after the catch. He's going to be a phenomenal red zone threat. But there's nothing that really, like, that makes him a first-round tight end. We don't have that in this class. So that's where I'm at with it when it comes to Wademeyer. I think he got worse as a blocker this year. For a guy his size, like, he should be playing a bit more physical than he has, and obviously that's something you get better at. But there's nothing that tells me he's a first rounder. And the tight ends, this is kind of, honestly, a letdown if you're the tight ends. And then we got David Bell, dude. Listen. This is my take on David Bell, because we don't see Drake London, right? We don't see Jahan Dotson probably being the other guy here. David Bell's great, phenomenal after the catch. He's more of a savvy route runner than an actual guy that, like, explodes outside of breaks. He ran a real simplistic scheme there for Purdue. Like, a lot of his routes were like shallow drag, slants, screens. But this is a guy that can attack the intermediate to deep. He's a great contested catch guy, great body control. He's just not a separator, man. He's just not the separator I would like. Yeah, man, he's just not the separator that, for me, that's ideal. I like David Bell. I like him better maybe as a day 2 value, though. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to speed through these next few picks. I'll just kind of give you my thoughts on a few guys. All right, let's see what you got going in day 2 here, Walter. Darian Kennard, I like him as a day 2 value, and I actually don't like him as a tackle. I like him better on the interior, but I get Jacksonville addressing the interior there. Jahan Dotson, wow, they double up on receiver? So they get Dotson and then they get Olave? Oh, that's scary. I don't mind that. Wow, none of the linebackers actually went in the first round outside of Clark, which is spicy. So Lloyd makes it here, which is a fabulous pick for the Jets, but this guy's going to the first round, man. There's Kenyon Green. This is a great pickup for the Giants. Alec Pierce, I feel like it is a bit high for Pierce. I mean, he's kind of flirting with that day 2, but like late day 2 for me. Like, it's interesting because his size, he's extremely fast for his size. He is a guy that can go up and get it. Is he he's not much of an after the catch guy, but in that offense, he didn't need to be. So he's kind of a question mark in that regard. It's just a bit too high for me. Arnold Ebiketti is a phenomenal pickup. So what? They're pairing him up with, who do they get? They got George Karlaftis. You would think they'd go for the offensive line. because you got Ryman there. I'm trying to think of maybe other cats. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, doubling up on edge is kind of interesting because I think that, I mean, I know that Salah, he loves being stacked at edge, but this is like a bit of overkill because there's some promise on that edge with Carl Lawson. You got, is it Franklin Myers, who's a guy that could kick inside or out? I think Bryce Huff, is that it? The former Buffalo or Memphis? I always get those two confused just because color schemes are so similar. He showed pretty good in a rotation role. Like, I don't know. Roger McCreary, wow, he didn't go in the first round. That's wild. This is a good get, though, pairing him up with Jalen Johnson. There we go. I don't get this pick for Abraham Lucas. He's gonna be good. Like, his ceiling's not necessarily that big. He's more of a high floor, low ceiling type of guy. He's gonna be a good, probably right tackle in the league, but like, you're Washington, you just signed Leno. You have Cosme, who showed great promise in his first year. Like, what is Lucas's role then? I don't know. You tell me. Carson Strong going to the Seahawks. A lot of, like, this is currently where I have Carson Strong in terms of on my big board. So the value is about right. He's right about Russell Wilson being traded. We got a lot of questions in terms of what will happen with the knees. Is this a long-term problem? So a lot of questions that need to be answered there. But I imagine they'll be checked out fine. He's been fine this year. He was fine last year. Has decent arm talent. The dude has a pretty good arm. Like, if anything, I'm more worried about Strong's pocket poise. Interesting. But yeah, no, this is fine. This is fine. Fedarian Mathis is an interesting pick here for Denver. Because I feel like, honestly, outside of their secondary, which they will take a hit if they don't bring back Bryce Callahan, or I imagine Kyle Fuller is not going to be retained there. But I would feel this is the next, like, most beefiest position. You got Nakobe Dean still left on the board. Get yourself a linebacker. Fedarian Mathis is freaking phenomenal, though. He is a gap penetrator. The dude's explosive. He's very straight line. Interesting. I haven't checked out this Chasen Hines cat, which is weird because I just got done looking at Ed Ingram this year, which he's fine. He's all right. He's more of a day 3 guy. So, yeah, I'm interested. I guess I could go back. He's not on my watch list, so maybe I have to put him there. Zachary Carter. Wow, this is high for Zachary Carter, and I love Zachary Carter. I think they need to get meteor on the interior, though, too. This is a Browns team that just gets ran all over. You got Travis Jones left on the board. I'm taking Jones here, though. Daxton Hill's a pretty cool pick for the Falcons. They list him as safety corner. It's because he plays in the slot. But he's the guy that I'd rather be my, like, center fielder. So I'm not thinking of pairing him up with AJ Terrell. And I mean, honestly, if you could put Hill in the slot, where that's what they've been playing Richie Grant at recently, and it just hasn't really worked out thus far. I'd rather Hill be more of this, like, box guy anyway. Actually, no, because he's not an explosive athlete, but he's an athlete, like, he's a smart athlete that won't let himself get, like, burnt or like blown up over the top. And they also have Jalen Hawkins, who I kind of liked. He showed, I don't know how he's done this year, but I know the year, like, his rookie season, the year before, he was pretty nice. So, yeah. Matt Corral. Oh, wow. Matt Corral fell to the second. I got, like, a late first on Corral. I've talked about why Matt Corral's kind of, like, I guess, fallen out of favor with me. Not his fault. I like him as a competitor. There's just, I feel like, other things that the top quarterbacks in this class do a bit better. But this would be good value in the second round. Justin Ross. I think there's a lot of questions about Justin Ross when it comes to medically. How does mainly the spine? I'm not worried about it. I think it was an ankle he went down to this year. But yeah, just he looked fine after the surgery. Another contested catch guy, like a guy that's like, throw it up and I'll catch over these fools. type of receiver. But yeah, this is a bit interesting. Let me speed through this. This video is getting long. Brian Robinson, that's what the Dolphins need. A running back. Now, we got so many other areas to like fill out. We shouldn't be thinking about running back. And especially, I was talking about it earlier. Build the offensive line first, and then go ahead and address running back if you want. And you could do it with like day 3 value or cheap free agent pickups. Akeel Glass is a guy I've yet to check out. He's on my watch list, though. But I've heard some good things about him. I don't know necessarily what his upside is. I've seen a few like highlights of him. That's why I don't have him ranked. Highlights are this is their best film on like tape in a highlight format, not an all 22. So it's like there's only so much you could pull from that. So yeah, I don't know if he's playing in an off-season bowl though. That'll be interesting. Hey, here's Eddie Ingram. I got him as a day 3. He's not your traditional LSU type of like phone booth defender. He's got a little bit of athleticism to him. His play strength could be a bit better. I don't know if he's exactly a guy Tom Cable would actually kind of like. I don't think Ingram's that guy. Jermaine Waller, okay, he's a pretty good fit for the Chargers. I think he's a good athlete, but I mean, he's coming from a very zone-heavy defense there at Virginia Tech, so yeah. That's fine. Here's Bernard Raymond. This is a good, like, you could go ahead, sign Eric Fisher back for 1 more year, and then you could bring Bernhard Ryman here as kind of a developmental guy. RJ Roderick, I can't even find this guy on anyone else's watch list. I'm just going to say that. I don't know. NFL advanced scouts have been very impressed with him. I don't know. Maybe he ends up on the radar, but like I don't have him. I have a lot of safeties on my watch list. He's not one of them. Brandon Smith is big time steal here for the Eagles. I like him. He's like kind of like nipping that first round type of buzz for me, but you still got Nakobe Dean there on the board. Logan Hall, it'd be interesting to see what Bills do with a guy like Logan Hall. Nick Benito, kind of he is not the successor to Chandler Jones. He would more so be a Hassan Reddick type of role. Zacoby McClain. I'm not lie to y'all, man. I've watched a little bit of him, not a ton. I wasn't that impressed with the little bit I watched. Obviously, I'm gonna get back to him and give him an actual grade, but I don't know. Here's Christian Harris though. So they trade Tremaine Edmonds for another guy who is a athletic freak. Smoke Monday, my boy. He's more of a like day 3 guy. Great name though. Andrew Booth. I didn't even realize. Oh my gosh, look at this back to back. These are first round corners. I can't see either of these guys falling out the first round. Elam, I think there could be a case, but Booth is gonna fly up people's boards. This is steals for these 2 squads at this point. Demarion Overshown. If you didn't know, now you know. He's actually returned to Texas. Here's Drake London. Wow, man. Walter must feel some type of different about the ankle injury. And then, oh, no. Okay, I just got done with LeBron Ray. This guy's been a rotation player his whole career. He's very flexible in terms of what scheme he could play in. He's an undrafted free agent. He might sneak into the draft just because his versatility, but like he wasn't really able to crack significant playing time with Alabama. So yeah, this is actually a bit of a surprise. All right, let's run through round 3. So this isn't like a terribly long video. I mean, it already is. John Mechie tore the ACL. I feel like 3rd round is probably where he's going to go. This is good. This is good for the Jags. Tariq Castro Fields. He's a speedster. Draw some comparisons to Marlon Humphrey. Shut your freaking mouth. That ain't true. He is a guy that's a bit handsy. I think that's why Joey Porter decided to return, because both those corners are real physical guys. Charlie Collier, I just don't think has the upside to be a day 2 guy. He's gonna be a solid like tight end 2 depth piece. It's just he's not really like Like, you need him in these, like, big, like, heavy formations because he's not a physical blocker. He's not that much of a blocker. Actually, half of the time he's been lined up, it's actually been in the slot, not in line. He's like a solid receiving tight end. So, Isaiah Spiller, they get a good running back here. Kenneth Walker, by the way, where are you at? Brian Robinson was actually the first linebacker. Yeah, Kenneth Walker, I think hands down is going to be the top guy, like, for everybody. Yeah. You're going to have another running back go, and it ain't going to be Kenneth Walker, but Zamir White. Listen, Zamir White, just not a dynamic back. He's decent. He's going to be good in a committee. Like, his game translates well. He's not going to be a guy that blows you away. Like, this third-round value blows my mind. Nakobe Dean, first-round value. This is ridiculous. Good gift for the Jags. Jalen Amore Davis is a guy that just small sample size. I like him though. I like him in the for this type of value. Amari Bardo is a guy I need to go back and watch. I really thought he was going to come back. I was surprised that he decided to come out, so I need to get to watching him. Terrell Bernard's another guy I need to go back and watch, but I hear a lot of good things about him. Here's Travis Jones. Look at you going. Ali Gay, man. This is a stacked edge class, man. I see him slip into day 3. Like, he's got good length, good explosiveness, and, like, he's like a former JUCO, and he's produced, but I don't have, like, an exact grade on him just yet. But let me tell y'all, this edge class is nuts. Brandon Cox actually is a guy I have a mid-day 2 grade on. He talks about upside here. I think he's above average for the position in terms of athleticism. He is pretty flexible though. He does bend well, but he was outplayed by his boy Zachary Carter there this year. And which, I mean, to be fair, Carter did go way high in this, much higher in this draft. Dude, he ain't come. This guy might be day 3 material, but like, what's his age? How old is this guy? I'm pretty sure he's coming back to be like a coach there at Clemson or an assistant or something. I don't know if he comes out to the draft. I'm going to be interested if he does. CJ Burdell, I'm going to straight up say it. I don't have a draftable grade on this cat. He's not a guy that consistently breaks tackles a lot. He got a lot better with his vision and seeing where his blocks were and actually attacking the holes, but he was hardly touched on a lot of these, like, breakaway touchdowns. Ohio State game, he had 1 forced missed tackle. Like, it was the offensive line that was doing a hell of a job. And he's coming off the injury. This is way too high for me. Leo Chanal is actually a pretty interesting prospect. Yeah, hard. Actually, this is exactly how I would describe him: hard-hitting, 2-down run defender, which those guys shouldn't go this early. But I think it's his pass rushing upside that actually puts him in the late day 2 discussion. Zay Flowers, he's returning. Caleb Evans, dude, I like him better than his teammate Ali Green. By the way, he plays for Mizzou. He's a transfer from Tulsa, but this may be a day 3, late day 3 guy. Calvin Austin, I know Ian Cummins really likes this cat a lot, but again, small receiver, yes, he's going to be more of a gadget type of player. Miles Jones, this is a day 3 corner. He's a big boy corner. Played a little bit of safety too, but I don't have a final evaluation on him as of yet. Kyler Gordon, this is a guy I thought maybe should probably go a bit higher, but hey, Dolphins get a good steal. John Ridgway is a guy I need to go back and watch again. I need to watch that front 7 for Arkansas. Like, I watched Trey Williams a bit because I think he was the guy with probably the best upside because his length and his explosiveness is pretty nice. But, yeah, I'll go back and watch Ridgway. Will Mallory, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm pretty sure he's returning. Lante Taylor, I don't know why. I saw this in the comments a few times. Everyone told me he was a burner. He is not that. Like, he looks a lot longer than he's listed at, Like, his wingspan looks ridiculous. I think maybe part of that is because he wears a lot of bands. So, like, you know, the stripes, they make you look longer than you really are. So I think that might be part of it. But I think this dude, he has a chance to be a pretty good, like, press zone corner. Not saying he can't play man, but he can play man. Zion Johnson falling here is pretty good. Pretty good value. This dude's my gosh. Was it Jawanye? I don't know how to say it. Jawanye Thomas. This dude's your prototypical box safety. Not in love with it. Look, Seven Banks still getting hype. What world are we living in? Josh Thompson. He's a guy that was listed on, I don't know if he listed for a bowl. I just know he declared. I want to go back and watch him. I'm kind of curious. Quay Walker, dude. Oh, dude, I don't know. Walter, why aren't you high on these linebackers from Georgia? Like Chanal and Tyndall too, man. Those guys are real good. Kobe Bryant, look at you making an appearance, man. So this is nice. This is about the range I got him in. Bubba Bolden, I'm pretty sure he did end up declaring. Pretty sad. Guy with high upside that just it hasn't panned out. I don't see him going this high. I think he's a day 3 guy. Will McDonald actually returned. So did actually Momo Sanago. He returned. He actually transferred to Louisville. So interesting mock. I'm glad we were able to finish that off pretty easy because of these guys transferred. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead and do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.